Hey, hello world, welcome to my world. Another episode of the Dammit Boy podcast where we analyze, process, think, and we ask questions last. I'm your host, Jabari. And on this episode of the Dammit Boy podcast, I want to bring to you guys' attention a story that's been back into the news airways about a young man by the name of Robert Brooks. Robert Brooks was a man from Greece, New York, who was killed while in custody serving time at a correctional facility in upstate New York. He was serving a 12-year bid and 4 years probation after his release, but he never got a chance to finish his bid before being killed by. Altogether, it was 13 officers involved, the 13 people at this correctional facility involved in Mr. Brooks' untimely demise. And out of those 13 people, 6 CO officers was charged with first degree murder in the death of Mr. Robert Brooks. I had started to do a story on this when it actually took place about a few months ago. I think back in November, late November, early December is when this transpired. And I had started the story, but I never did get a chance to finish it because honestly, man, I'm just now starting a YouTube page here, and I didn't have everything down pat as far as working the equipment. So it took me longer than expected to get the video out and all the information out on the situation at the time. And then by the time I finally did get finished with it, it had kind of pretty much died down. And honestly, I didn't even think we would get to this point to where we are now with these people being charged. Like I said, 6 of them was charged with first degree murder, and then another three CO officers was charged with manslaughter as well. So altogether, 9 people out of 13 people that was involved in this situation was charged with either a first degree murder or a manslaughter charge. And it also need to be noted as well that, like I said, this happened a few months ago. And to see that these people have actually been charged is it was pretty exciting to me to wake up to this morning. I think the news broke yesterday that this was transpiring. But hopefully what happens after this right here is that these guys actually get found guilty of the charges. Honestly, I don't think the 6 that's being charged with first degree murder is actually going to get the first degree murder charge, even though that they should. If you saw the video, because there is footage out there of this crime, and if you saw what I saw, then you would agree. I think the nation would agree. I think the world would agree that this is the situation where they should be punished to the utmost. They should be punished to the fullest extent of the law, simply because this was all the way 100% without a shadow of a doubt intentional. The things that they did to this man while beating him in custody, he was shackled up. He had his hands tied behind his back. He couldn't fight. He couldn't even really resist while they just ravagely just beat him, man. Stuck, put towels in his mouth. Beat him with a shoe, anything you can name before this man actually passed away. They pretty much did it to him. So to see these guys going through what they're about to get ready to go through is a good sight to see. And also, this is the situation that's to me, hear me out, listen to me real good. I'm going to tie Mr. Jordan Neely into this situation as well. And the reason why I want to do that is because he was a man who was killed at a subway station by an ex-military. Here, let me pull this up real quick. He was a man that was killed at a subway station by an ex-military veteran. Let's see here. I'm not mistaken, Jordan Neely was a 32-year-old black man I know he was killed at a subway station in New York. Yes, Jordan Neely was he was a 30-year-old homeless black man who was killed after being put in a chokehold by ex military vet by the name of Daniel Penny, Marine at that. So the reason why I'm bringing up Jordan Neely is simply because everybody wanted justice for Jordan Neely. And it was sad to see what happened to Jordan Neely. It was sad to see Jordan Neely on the ground at that subway station being held in a chokehold by Mr. Daniel Penny. It really was. But when you start to read the backdrop behind the Jordan Neely story and what actually happened leading up to him being put in a chokehold by Mr. Daniel Penny, then you would understand, that was one of those situations that was tragic and it shouldn't have happened. And it honestly, in my opinion, it could have been prevented. And the way it could have been prevented is simply by Mr. Jordan Neely having more family support and people within his inner circle or his immediate family or his close friends or loved ones showing him and giving him more support and care than what they was giving him. For him to be 30 years old, homeless down at a subway station, scaring people, having people, just pretty much, I don't want to say necessarily like scared for their life, but they felt like they was being threatened by Mr. Jordan Neely at the time in the subway station. And this is how, the situation happened with him being led up and put in a chokehold. So with that being said, Daniel Penny got found not guilty in that crime. He was charged with a manslaughter charge. He went to trial and he was found not guilty. And honestly, in my opinion, I think that was the right call. I think that was the right verdict for that situation, simply because he, in the eyes of so many people, Jordan Neely was a threat to them. The pedestrians that was at the subway station, Jordan Neely was a threat to them. So with that being said, what Mr. Daniel Penny did, with that being said, what Mr. Daniel Penny did was, it was justified. A lot of people might not agree with that. And then to add to Mr. Jordan Peely, his family actually took it to trial and filed a civil lawsuit against Daniel Penny, and I believe the New York City Police Department as well. And I don't think they should be rewarded anything. And the reason why is because, like I said, if Mr. Jordan Neely had more family support, he wouldn't have been down at the train station homeless, antagonizing pedestrians. Excuse me, I can't talk today, but antagonizing pedestrians while they're trying to catch a ride to the house after leaving work, probably a long day of work, many hours of work, and they shouldn't be at the subway feeling threatened or feeling like their life could be in jeopardy. So back to Robert Brooks. I had to bring up Jordan Neely because the Robert Brooks situation is a totally different situation where, yes, Mr. Robert Brooks was incarcerated. Yes, he was serving time for a very heinous and vicious crime that he committed at the time against his once girlfriend. There's no denying that. But in America, there's called conviction. That's called being there. There's a law called being punished for, or there's a such thing as called being punished for your crime. And what's going on right now is Mr. Brooks was being punished for his crime. He was serving his time for the crime that he had committed, and that's what he was doing by law. So for him to be killed in the hands of the law is a tragedy within itself, and to me, it's more like a horror story. So with these correctional officers, it's totally different than the Jordan Neely situation and the Daniel Penny situation. Where Daniel Penny was doing an honorable thing, he was doing something that was justified. Not only was he doing something that was justified, it was also justified by the pedestrians that was at the subway while this was transpiring and taking place. They actually not only spoke with the news stations that was there after the incident that took place and transpired with Mr. Jordan Neely, but also they testified during the trial that Daniel Penny had for the manslaughter charge. These same witnesses who gave testimony for the media also testified during Mr. Daniel Penny's trial that his crime or so-called crime was justified. So with that being said, this right here with Mr. Robert Brooks and these and all 9 correctional officers, 6 being charged with first degree murder, the other 3 being charged with manslaughter. This is not justifiable, regardless of what Mr. Robert Brooks' charges was. This was not justifiable at all. So with that being said, I've been sitting here rapping for you guys for the last almost 12 minutes. We're going to get to the video, we're going to get to the pictures, and we're going to get to the backdrop and the story of of Mr. Robert Brooks. So let's go over here to the drawing board, and let's get to the video clip first. Man, that's crazy. All right, guys. So that was the news report, as you can see on Mr. Robert Brooks, and the altogether the 9 correctional officers that was charged either with first degree murder or manslaughter. And like I said earlier in the introduction, 6 of them was charged with first degree murder, and 3 of them was charged with manslaughter. And also out of those 6, one of the guys wasn't even listed. But what we gonna do now is we gonna load up some pictures, and I'm gonna also go a little bit further into detail on the story that I had wrote up and was going to release initially when this story first broke the news airways. But like I said, didn't get a chance to. But basically, what I'm doing is here. We're gonna get into it. Let's just go straight into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I had titled this "Another Horrific and Tragic Story of Robert Brooks," and I started it off. Hey, Robert Brooks was a 43-year-old black man from Greece, New York, that was locked up and serving a 12-year prison sentence at the Mohawk Correctional Facility and 4 years of supervised probation post-release for a first-degree assault in 2016 on his then girlfriend at the time, Diana Riviera. It needs to be noted that the crime that Robert Brooks pled guilty to is a very serious crime that he admitted to and he pled guilty to as well. The reports state from eyewitnesses that Mr. Brooks sat on top of Miss Riviera and stabbed her multiple times in her chest, neck, side, and back before eventually getting up and walking away. Miss Riviera would have to go on to the hospital to be treated for life-threatening injuries. Robert Brooks also had to go to the hospital as well for injuries that he sustained during the incident. Now, after pleading guilty to the first degree assault charges on his then girlfriend, Mr. Brooks was locked up at the Mohawk Correctional Facility in Central New York. On November the 9th, Mr. Brooks was transferred from the Mohawk Correctional Facility to the Marcy Correctional Facility for unknown reasons at the time that I had did the report. And honestly, we still don't know the reasons for Mr. Brooks being transported from the Mohawk Correctional Facility back over to the Marcy Correctional Facility where he later lost his life at. Now, there was a video as well. Let's get the video pulled up. It's crazy how like nowadays, man, like I remember it was so much easier at one point in time to pull up these type of videos and things of that nature, but now it's so difficult if you don't catch it in the beginning. Okay, so I think I got it right here, you guys. All right, this is the actual video footage of Mr. Robert Brooks being brought into the Marcy Correctional Facility right before he lost his life. And as you can see, there are several CO officers that's involved in the situation. You have 3 of them already that actually have their physical hands on him, toting him into the examination room. And also pay attention to the nurses. Those 2 guys that you just saw in regular clothing was 2 of the nurses that also was involved in the situation. And I don't think they was charged at all because, like I said, it was 13 of these people all together initially that was involved in the situation. And out of that 13, out of that 13, nine of those people were charged with either first degree murder or manslaughter. So, like I said, this is the video. Let's keep it rolling. All right, so here I'm gonna give you guys one more before I cut it off. This one right here, another 46 seconds. So let's rock with it real quick. Now I'm gonna just stop it right here, guys. I think that's more than enough. It's just playing the same footage and the news media giving their take on it, and of course, you know what they take gonna be. It's always gonna be one sided or for one of the other. Um, like I was telling you guys, man, at the end of the day, what these guys did was it shouldn't have been done. I don't understand why this story didn't catch more wind than what it did when it initially took place. And I'm also surprised, to be honest with you, that it's even back in the media, and these guys are actually being charged with the crime. Like, it's very surprising to me. Not only are they being charged with the crime, but man, these guys are being charged with first degree murder. I mean, out of everything that could have, and then not only that, I need to calm down myself. But not only that, these charges have been brought up since Donald Trump has took office. Like, that's another surprising thing to me as well. But it's still gonna be interesting how this story is going to turn out. And the reason why I say that is because his prior charges. And if you noticed, I don't know if that lady that was in the first initial video who actually stated that Mr. Brooks was in jail serving time for a charge that he committed. That furthermore lets you know that they understood, they was well aware that Mr. Brooks had did something that he shouldn't have done himself. But at the end of the day, we all human. Thank God that his girlfriend at the time is Diana Rivera. She didn't lose her life, but Mr. Brooks did. And that should be the people who done that should be held accountable. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Mr. Brooks shouldn't have lost his life in the manner that he lost his life. These officers should be held to the fullest extent of the law, because we're here to set examples, and that wasn't the example that needed to be set. That was a bad example, and if they get away with this, then it's setting an example to the rest of the correctional officers across the nation that hey, it's okay to kill an inmate. Nothing's going to happen. This shouldn't be the case. This is one of those cases where justice should be served. And it's gonna be close, man. And the reason why, once again, I say it's gonna be close is because Mr. Robert Brooks had a past, and his past was not a good past. So we just gonna have to wait and see how this situation turn out. I'm gonna keep my eyes on it just as well as y'all. Y'all should keep y'all eyes on it as well. But I wanted to bring this, guys, to your attention. Let me pull up some pictures of these CEOs as well. That's a part of this, so you guys can see firsthand here. A lot of these guys that was charged with the crime. That, like I said, that's three of the officers there. These pictures that you're seeing is after they initially brought him into the correctional facility, and after they brought him, as you can see, to the medical exam room, and they started to or continued to beat him, and they actually killed him after this. He died right after this situation right here. This is a picture after they put the towel in his mouth. This is a picture after, once again, they brought him out. I mean, brought him in, sat him on the gurney. And this is after the one CEO, the bald head guy you see here, then kicked him and This guy you see with the hat on, this is the guy who I don't know where he got the boot from, but he had a boot and he was literally taking a boot and he was hitting him in the stomach, hitting him in his midsection. This same guy with the hat on was punching him in his groin. You heard the newsman say that he was punching him in his stomach and punching him in his legs. No, he was punching him in his stomach, he was punching him in his groin, and he was punching him in his legs. And the video will clearly show that he was doing all of the above. So this is after they did all of that. They actually grabbed him by his jumpsuit, pulled him up, and this the towel situation. They should be in order, but this is the towel situation. This is after they first initially brought him in, and this is one of the first things that they did to him was shove the towel down his throat. I mean, it's just vicious, man. After shoving the towel down his throat, as you can see, this guy right here is kicking him and shoving his foot all in his ribs and in his midsection. And not only that, but look at him. He's looking at the camera, man. Like they know they being recorded, and they have no. I mean, just no empathy, no sorrow, no nothing. Like they don't care. Like this man is looking into the camera as he's putting his big fucking boot all in this man's midsection. There's the boot. Like I said, I don't know if I believe that's Mr. Robert Brooks' boot. It's crazy that a man would take this man's boot off and beat him with his own boot, but that's exactly what I believe he did. I don't know why I got several of the same pictures, but as you can see, I took a still shot of this one so you can see that these men, this goes to show you how brave they are. This goes to show you that they have no care. This goes to show you that in their mind, they have all the power. This is what they show you for these people to have these body cameras on and still committing the acts that they're committing against Mr. Robert Brooks is senseless, and it should be shameless against the New York, the Mohawk. Not the Mohawk, the Marcy Correctional Facility and everything that's involving them and their CEOs for this man or these men to have on these body cameras and still assault and abuse and murder this man the way that they did is crazy. It's absurd. It really is. It really is. This still shot right here is after, they didn't put the towel down his throat. He done put his boot all in his chest and all in his midsection, and the man done beat him with the boot and punched him all in his midsection and all in his groin and in his legs and things of that nature. They snatch him up off the gurney and hem him up against this wall that you see back here with a fan on your left. And after that, man, it was pretty much over. It was pretty much over with. He took his last breath, and that was pretty much it. Sad but true. This is right before he snatched him up and put him up on his back wall right here. He snatched him up, and that's what these pictures are showing. This man getting snatched up off this gurney and getting ready to be carried to this back wall. So I wanted to bring this to you guys, and I'm pretty sure it's all across the news airwaves, but this is me and the Dammit Boy podcast. This is what we do here. These are the type of stories we want to cover. We have to get better. We have to start standing up, and we have to start not just standing up, but standing strong for right and strong for things that are not right. And this is one of those situations, man, where this man didn't deserve to lose his life in the manner that he lost his life after being convicted of a crime himself and having to serve 12 years of his life plus another 4 years on supervised probation after his release. It's sad, but thank you yet again I wanted to bring that to my people. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Dammit Boy podcast. And if you guys don't mind, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, share. I want you guys to come in and grow with me. We can grow together. I'm new to the YouTube world. I'm new to the whole pretty much social media world, except for Facebook. But I want you guys to grow with me. We're going to come here and we're going to bring stories like this and even bigger. But what we're going to do is we're going to get all the information and all of the facts, like even with this Robert Brooks situation, all the information and all of the facts are in. So now we can make our final conclusion to what the facts present and what the facts hold. So with that being said, man, we don't have time for really biased opinions if it ain't dealing with the truth. And we're not here to destroy our strong and powerful black men. We will condemn them for their wrongdoings, but we're not going to convict them before they're actually convicted. And even if they are convicted, we still got to look at all the factual evidence, because we know how this system play the game when it come down to people that look like us. The system wasn't built for us, but at the same time, we are a part of the system. So we must learn the system. Not only learn the system, but learn how to fight in this system, learn how to maneuver within this system so we can become stronger within the system. And if we don't want to do that, then maybe we should just start our own system. But hey, it's me, Jabari. This is once again the Dammit Boy podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm out.